It's a hurricane, it's over before you know it. While you're shaking, we're a dynasty in the making. We're the royalty, now we're breaking down the enemy. Move over for the soldiers. Take a swing, I can take a hit. If we die, it's fine, we live for this. It's all for this. We're gonna stand on top with our hands in the sky. Gonna raise our cup to the stadium lights. For the glory, for the glory. We celebrate with the city tonight. Hear the hometown cheer, it's the ultimate high. For the glory, we do it for the glory. Yeah, we've waited for our time to come, calculated everything we've done, we've upgraded. Now you can't outrun a champion. Now you're facing one. Can you hear them? Yeah, it's all for us. You believe them? Yeah, it's serious. Hear the siren. We're victorious. I'm telling you. Can I get a hell yeah? Take a swing, I can take a hit. If we die, it's fine, we live for this. It's all for this. We're gonna stand on top with our hands in the sky. Gonna raise our cup to the stadium lights. For the glory, for the glory. We celebrate with the city tonight. Hear the hometown cheer, it's the ultimate high. For the glory, we do it for the glory. You're the chaser, I'm the eraser. I'll ruin your record, I'll back it, I'll break ya. I cut like a razor, so call the trophy engraver. I'm gonna get it, wait till I win it. God, I'm so glad to be in it. Can't wait to say that we did it. This is my life and I live it. Ready to give it my all when you fall back. Taking advantage of all that. Demons on average are so bad. Playing short and your team scratch. Time to assess all the damages. I knew that you couldn't handle this. It takes a man to stand up to the king, and unfortunately you were bandages. We're gonna stand on top with our hands in the sky. Gonna raise our cup to the stadium lights. For the glory, for the glory. We celebrate with the city tonight. Hear the hometown cheer, it's the ultimate high. For the glory, we do it for the glory. This is why we do it. This is what we live for. We on top. We number one. Hands to the sky. Never back down. Never back down. You gotta know my name. You gotta know my name.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. It's Tuesday night, and that means we've got the GT45 Prototype Challenge back on your big screens in your living rooms or your workspaces. Welcome in, presented by Ten Tenths Simracing. I'm your host for the evening, GT45 Gaming, family-friendly broadcast. let's break it down. All right, so much like last night from our pro division, we have a very spirited battle here on a very famous racetrack or infamous racetrack, depending on how you want to look at it here. We are on a very technical mid to high speed circuit called Suzuka Grand Prix, and many of us know where this track is, of course, located in Japan. It is one of their premier racetracks there in the country of Japan, one of very many that they have there as well. So racing definitely in the culture there, and we're going to have a great track displayed here. We are going to be running that Peugeot 908 HDI FAP 2010 model car as well. So it is a little bit different than the cars we've been seeing running so far this season. This car, of course, has no electric boost motor system, so it has no battery to give it extra acceleration out of corners. So this car is all motor, it's all horsepower, it's all grit. It is going to come down to each driver behind the wheel of these cars here and their recognition and comfortability being able to push the limits around this very technical racetrack. We've seen a spirited fight last night in the pros. That mid-pack battle between second through seventh place for the majority of the race was absolutely fantastic, and I don't suspect we're going to see anything different here tonight from our pro-ams. This is always a spicy lobby. These drivers love to race, and I suspect we're going to see much of that. But again, it's going to come down to a few factors here tonight. It is a 50-minute endurance race, so racing medium and racing soft tires are required. However, we are using dynamic weather, and that does mean that rain could potentially factor into our race here this evening. So within 50 minutes at a 4 times weather multiplier, that essentially turns it into about a 3.5 hour race time, if you do the math on that. So over 3.5 hours, the weather can most certainly change here at Suzuka with the way that the settings are. So the driver's going to have to deal with 5 times tire wear and 4 times fuel consumption. So tires are definitely going to factor in here today, and of course fuel will as well. So we are going to see at least one pit stop. Now, if rain comes into play, that will void the tire mandate, so we'll explain that here in a moment. The drivers need to use the racing medium and the racing soft tires for a minimum of 3 laps. That includes an out lap and an in lap, so if they start the race on a tire, they want to use it for the minimum amount of time they can pit at the end of lap 3, and that will, of course, count as a tire being used. However, if it rains and that moisture meter hits 33%, where the game recommends you should have intermediate racing tires on your race car at that point, that will make the tire mandate void, and it is free game from that point on for the remainder of the race. So what does that mean? It means some different strategies could play into factor at the beginning of the race here, depending on what that weather radar looks like once we get a lobby reset in. We could see rain right out the bat when we reset this lobby, and the drivers could qualify under wet conditions. It's entirely hard to say what we're going to see here. It is completely random every single time you reset the lobby. So we could have nice conditions now, and it could be just absolutely atrocious hurricane-style weather when we get ready to race time. So really that is going to be the interesting factor here, the big question mark, the wild card in round number 9. We do have Tron Kobe coming into round number 9 as our Pro-Am Championship points leader, and Dark Cobra coming in as our Am Championships point leader here as well today. So drivers are definitely going to be looking for maximum points here today in the best position on the racetrack possible leading into St. Croix for our finale next week, and it is a double points round, so it is very, very important to lock in as much as you can here today to prepare for that double points round next week. All right. Whew, that was a lot to take in, wasn't it, folks? How we doing? You still with me here? All right. So ultimately, it's just like every other race. The drivers have been practicing, testing, tuning all week long. They've developed strategies. They've tested those strategies, and now they're coming into race time, and it all comes to fruition. Now, how much wet practice each of these races have had is the big question mark. So if it does rain at the racetrack, how well are racers going to be able to adapt to those very quickly changing conditions? Now, with that being said, we also seen variable changing conditions in the race last night. We started in cloudy conditions. We went to some pretty nice sunny conditions in the middle part of the race, and then it got very scary to looking like rain near the end of the race, to the point where our winner, Paymay, said that it was even on the radar about 15 miles out from the track at the point that the race had finished. So it is always lingering here at Suzuka, and it is always a possibility here, and it's definitely going to be playing on the back of the minds of the Pro-Ams here for sure as well tonight as we continue on. But it should be an interesting race here. All right, let's talk about our racetrack a little bit here while we have a moment. There we go. We have a 3.61 mile racetrack, 5.81 kilometers. It has 20 left and right hand turns. It is a tarmac road surface. It is a real world circuit and has an elevation change of 131 feet from its highest point to its lowest point. And again, really great racetrack here. This famous circuit was actually built before there were highways in Japan. It's one of the very few circuits in the world with a figure 8 layout with an overpass with many unique corners on the track. It is one of the most favorite tracks for top drivers all around the world. Fun little fact there too as well. Before we continue moving through our pre-race program here. And again, all that information and, of course, the visuals provided by Ten Tenths Simracing there as well. So I definitely appreciate all the work she puts in for the track maps and all the extra visuals she provides for us here each week of racing. And Fast Ginger as well is stepping in and helping, providing with some of that stuff as well. So it makes a team to make the dream. And we've got a pretty great team here at GT45 Gaming. So appreciate all the hard work behind the scenes. And we're almost ready to race here. We're about 6 minutes away from qualifying conditions. So with that being said, we're not going to quite show you guys what's going on in the background yet. I'm just waiting for our racers to get the cars out of the paddock and into pit lane. So let's talk about our driver of the day for round 8 at Road Atlanta. We're going to start with our Pro-Am division. And it is Team Rad's the Damn Cat going to get the Driver of the Day award for our Pro-Am division last week. And the reason for that is he got into an incident in turn 1, lap 1, and went off the racetrack, kept it out of the wall, went into the back of the pack by the time he was able to get back on track in a safe manner, and drove himself back up into the front and literally was battling for the race lead near the end of the race. So for that outstanding performance, it is going to be Team Rad's the Damn Cat getting the GT45 Gaming Prototype Challenge Driver of the Day award, and that award comes with a bonus point as well, which is very important as we're getting into a championship finale here next week. Every bonus point matters, so congratulations to the Damn Cat for his outstanding performance. And I think Sheriff is having issues again with the black screen of death here in the lobby, so we'll have to keep our eye on the Discord here to make sure that we're aware of what the situation is. We had the same issue last week as well. Alright, so let's talk about our AM driver of the day here as well. So, just going to get that up on the screen for everybody here. There we go, and our AM driver of the day is going to be awarded to Scary Guy for You here for his performance last week as well. He's been here all season. He's made every race but one this season. He has had some tough races here this season, and this was by far his most outstanding performance this season. And it just so happened to be his first AM win of the season as well. So he took the trifecta of points. He took the pole position, the race win, and the fastest lap point during the race in round number 8 at Road Atlanta, and that, for that outstanding performance, will give Scary Guy for You the GT45 Gaming Prototype Challenge Driver of the Day award for round number 8 at Road Atlanta last week, and that also comes with a bonus point for him as well. So a huge sweep of points for Scary Guy in round number 8, leading into round number 9 here tonight in that AM division. So things are getting interesting in this Pro-Am lobby. The standings are very tight in the Pro-Am division. A little more spread out in the Pro, but still very close, but the Pro-Am is quite a bit tighter. So once that drop round gets factored in at the end of the season, it is going to be a mere handful of points, I think, here, if even that much, separating the top 2 or 3 drivers, potentially more. So we're going to get a little bit deeper into that this week here and get that information to our racers so they all know what they're up against for round number 10. But things are shaping up to be a pretty good finish to our season next week here, and huge thank you to the racers. They have fought their hearts out all season long in very tough cars on very tough combinations. We have seen some tough racetracks come out this season, and these very, very crazy fast LMP1 cars. So the drivers have been up to the challenge all season long, and boy, we have had some fantastic races right down to the checkered flag. Right throughout each round of racing this season as well. If not both divisions, one division, right down to the checkered flag, it seems like a podium position was being battled for every single week. You can't really ask for better than that. So great job by our racers, and we got round 9 here for the Pro-Ams and AMs about to get underway here in a couple minutes time. So we're just keeping our eye on, again, we're aware of the issue with one of the racers here, so we'll be keeping our eye on that just to make sure that he's able to race. properly here tonight. We had to give him, we had to work through the hoops of the game last week just to make sure he could get on track at race. So we're going to try and make sure he gets a good proper qualifying run here today this time, and can get on and moving and grooving. So. Alright, we're going to reset the lobby for our racers, and we're going to get them to start readying up, and we're going to get prepared to do some qualifying here. So just bear with me for a moment. And if I don't hit the wrong button, it'll only be 2 resets, not 3. But no promises on that. Alright, Sheriff, hopefully this doesn't mess you up. If it does, just jump out, come back in. We'll make sure that you're good to go before we run the qualifying session here today. Alright. Do it right this time. I gotta talk myself through it sometimes so we don't make the button mistake. It helps. It helps. Alright, so we're seeing about similar conditions here, it looks like, from our race last night. It is definitely cloudy and overcast here over the racetrack. It looks a little foggy coming out of the Casio Triangle here right now on the front straight. So it should be about a similar style race here, it looks like, tonight. That we'll start off with potential rain in the immediate future, and we'll see how the weather takes our racers from there. All right. We're just going to get them to ready in, and we're going to get underway. So now we'll move you to the big screen here. And we're just going to go check in on our Facebook page here real quick because we got a couple of windows going. Cloudy conditions made the track greasy, says Aaron, coming in with that thumbs up on the Facebook as well. I appreciate you, my guy. We got Madeline coming in going, let's go TT. Let's go Trone, says Cold. Trone, let's go. We got let's go TT. Good luck, guys, says Jay. All right, everybody is on track and ready to go. We got 11 racers here this evening, much like in our pro lobby last night. So fantastic. And we are about to see what Suzuka has in store for our Pro-Ams. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're missing 2. We'll give it another minute. Sheriff is ready, so that's the important one we're really keying in on here. Looks like Medic is one of them. Oh, he's ready. Cobra's ready. Egon's in the VR, so he probably didn't see it. Alright, I think we're good to go. We'll give him another... we'll give them the old good evening, have a good race, good luck scheme. That'll give them the heads up that we are about to hit the button. There we go. All right. Come on, Trone, you got the THG's Trone, you got this, you got this. It is going to be a fight here today. If Josh Ginger and Trone Kobe get clean here at the front of the race and have no incident in the early parts of the race, it is definitely going to be the 2 drivers we're keeping an eye on here tonight for sure, as those 2 are the closest in the points for the championship right now. And it's going to be, this is a tough racetrack, so it's going to be very interesting to see how this shapes out. But let's go qualifying. Let's not delay this beautiful weather we have here at Suzuka any longer. You can see our fans are prepared for changing conditions here as well. So that's fantastic to see. All right, let's get that racing information up before our cars get out of pit lane. And just making sure all the racers get out, importantly, here to start qualifying off. Fast Ginger is going to lead the pack out with Egon second on track. Dark Cobra is going to come out third with Sheriff Doofy here in 4th place. We got Kilt coming out 5th. We got Trone coming out 6th. We got, looks like TDC Gaming coming out 7th. Scary Guy's going to come out in behind him here, 8th out on track. Looks like Heathen will be behind him, 9th out on track. You can see him just getting released there. And good spacing here from our racers today. Medic's just coming out there. And Superman's going to going to be the last driver to come out on track here to run his qualifying. So it's a 5-minute qualifying run, so it's going to be enough time for these racers to get 2 laps here today, and not a whole lot more. And we see Egon in trouble very early on there. On those cold racing tires, and we just seen one of the pro drivers in the chat saying that the track was very greasy in these conditions last night, so maybe caught Egon a little bit off guard there, but he is settled back in behind Sheriff Doofy there, now third out on track. So we're going to sit on board here with our second place driver in the championship point standings, Fast Ginger, and he's a few points in behind Drone Kobe right now, and I don't know exactly what that tally is right this second, but we can definitely find that information out in just a shakes of the cat's tail here. Don't ask me why I chose that as my example. I just did. Not sure where. Alright, so before the drop round right now, it's Drone Kobe with 214 points. His TT's Fast Ginger with 205 points, and his Team Rat's the Damn Cat with 204 points. So from first to third place, literally only separated by 10 points. Second and third place separated by 1 point. So there we go. Those are the 3 drivers we're definitely going to have our eyes on here. And as Fast Ginger comes around here, we're officially now under qualifying conditions, so you can see, much like last night, it's going to be anywhere between about a minute 45 to a minute 50 here, I think, or a little less than a minute 45 potentially here for the Pro-Am division as well tonight, but we'll see what the drivers have for pace. Looks like Sheriff's closing in on Fast Ginger here a little bit, and Sheriff Doofy is the wild card here tonight as well. He has shown great pace in this division since he joined halfway through the season here, and he can most certainly end up on the top of the podium here tonight as well, so we definitely cannot discount that man. And as far as that goes, every driver on the racetrack here tonight, we're missing a few of the AM drivers here today, and it is what it is, but this is a very heavy Pro-Am lobby here today, and we've got 3 of our AMs on track. So out of the 11 drivers, 8 of them are our Pro-Am drivers here. So, and I can't even say that it's just on the Pro-Ams here. We've seen Dark Cobra, we've seen Sugar Rush Racing, we've seen a pretty great performance of Scary Guy last week as well. So I mean, the AMs have the pace to find the podium. We've seen 2 AM drivers on the overall podium this season as well already. So it's anybody's race to win here tonight, really. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to how clean you can get around the track, not picking up penalties and the little mistakes. We've seen lots of little mistakes from our pros last night. Those little mistakes cost half seconds and seconds on this racetrack. And Sheriff has got a great run in behind Ginger here, and Fast Ginger is definitely not going to be sitting on pole time here with Sheriff Doofy continuing to close in here on him in qualifying. So Fast Ginger maybe just taking a safe lap here for the first lap, and then he's going to send this second lap. But now these 2 are going to have to kind of sort this out here, because they are very close together, and I doubt that either one of them wants to really have traffic, so to speak, even though they're not traffic right now around them in qualifying. But it's going to be Fast Ginger there. Sheriff Doofy is going to take pole position as he comes through there, so it's now going to be Egon in third out. He's going to move up into second place. Kilt is going to jump up into second position there as he comes through on his first time. Dark Cobra, our AM driver here, is going to stay in 5th. Damn Cat going up into second place there. We got Drone Kobe here. He's now 7th driver on track, 8th driver on track, pardon me. A Scary Guy just went through there. He's going to stay in 8th. That tells me he didn't get a great first lap there. We got Medic here now in 9th place, and he didn't get a great first lap, as Superman's coming across ahead of him there as well, and I think Heathen as well. They're in 11th place, not on an ideal lap. He's actually got damage on that race car there right now. So Sheriff already parked in the pits there, maybe made a mistake on this second lap and just got out of the way. So it is the Damn Cat here now in second place chasing, but where's Ginger? Because he should be the lead car here with Sheriff in pit lane. And then I believe it was Egon in 5th there. We're going to do our best here to try and keep this in sequence the best we can here. But it is Fast Ginger here right now. We're sitting on board. I think I'll be the next driver to come across the start-finish line at this point here. And this will be the final lap for our racers as well, as the 5-minute timer is going to be out as soon as he comes on Spoon Curve here. There we go. The timer is officially finished here in qualifying. So as the racers now come across the start-finish line, they will see checkered flags here for their qualifying run. We are setting the grid fastest first here based off of qualifying tonight. So fastest at the front and slowest at the back, and that's how we've been doing it all season, with the exception of round 5 and next week's round, which will reverse grid based off championship point standings. So that's going to be fun. Alright, so it's Ginger here, and then we've got, I believe, Egon next in line here. And we are going to see Fast Ginger jump up into third position on that final lap here. We've got Egon coming through there in sixth position, and I'm not sure who that car is in behind Egon there. It's a green one. It's either Scary Guy or TDC. TDC's actually just coming across the line there now, and very close to his other lap. Egon there. We got trying to find a driver that's flying here. Got Scary Guy here. We got Trone in behind him as well. Trone does not find an improvement there. Where else are we here? We got TDC's done, Ginger's done, Egon's done. Superman just came across. He's up into 6th place. Kilt, that was Kilt we seen there. In 7th, Dark Cobra here in 8th. Looks like a Scary Guy in 9th position. It's going to be Medic here in 10th, and Heathen is flying a flyer here. Let's see what he gets. It's going to be 9th place there. Didn't have an ideal first lap. Had damage coming out of the Casio Triangle. Might have been carrying that damage a little bit still into that final lap. Might have slowed him down just a little bit there, but going to start 9th on the grid. So pole position is going to go to Sheriff Doofy here tonight, and it's by 0.3 of a second over Team Raz the Damn Cat, over Trone Kobe, over 10 Tenths Fast Ginger. So our eyes are on 1st through 4th place here, very early on here tonight, to see how this is going to shape up here in the first stint. So congratulations to all the racers, and it is again Sheriff Doofy in pole position with the Damn Cat lined up beside him. It's going to be Trone Kobe and Fast Ginger 1 and 2 in the point standings in row number 2. Row number 3 is going to be Egon and Superman. In row number 4 will be 10 Tenths Kilt and Dark Cobra. Row number 5 will be RA's Heathen and Scary Guy for you too. And our final row here, row number 6, will be headed up by Medic 5624. And we love to see it. 11 drivers are going to be starting our race here this evening. And hopefully, like last night, we see 11 drivers finish our race here as well. So we'll give a 2-minute warning here, and we'll kick this race off. We'd like to give 2 minutes just in case. Gives time to the drivers time to change the tires to how they want to start the race. Gives them a chance to look at the weather and make that decision as well. And I mean, it's anybody's game here to determine on what's going to happen now weather-wise. This is a very similar weather pattern that we seen last night in the Pro Division, and they did not see rain, but that does not mean we will see the same thing tonight either. So it's going to be interesting. Corey coming in. Let's go, Trone. Oh, THG is in the house as well. Love to see it. Love to see it. Love to see the fans. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's enjoying their week so far. If not, I promise we're going to have a spirited battle here at Suzuka tonight. So it is going to be Sheriff Doofy with pole position for our Pro-Ams, and it's going to be Dark Cobra taking the pole position for our Am division here tonight. So bonus points for both of them to start the race. That's going to move them a little bit closer into the point standings. And we did, if I remember correctly, Sheriff Doofy said he is aiming for a top 5 finish here before the end of the season. So he's going to be looking for nothing other than a race win here today, potentially as well, and could throw a wrench in the work for that championship fight as well. So lots is happening here in round number 9, and Sheriff has been a great addition here to our division this season, and I can't wait to see what he's going to do here at Suzuka as well. Very difficult racetrack, very difficult racing conditions here tonight. There is the unknown. Only 50 minutes on the clock now is going to tell us how everything shapes up. So driver's got about a minute to go here before we're going to kick this thing off. And we are going to send it GT45 style. Fast, furious, door to door, tire to tire. Clean and efficient racing here from our Pro-Am division. Pro-Am division, pardon me. Poor Am's just getting left in the dark. Ugh. All right, are we ready? I know I'm ready. The racers sure seem ready as they're going to be anyways. Good luck. Have fun. Settle in, everybody watching at home. Let's go racing. All right. 10 points separates the top 3 in the championship point standings here in round number 9. We got the wild card, Sheriff Doofy, on track here in pole position today. who is going to take our podium. And don't forget about the rest of the field in behind our top 4 here as well. So be watching very closely here for the first few corners of the track to make sure everybody gets through neat and tidy. Kick them tires, light them fires. We're green flag racing. And Sheriff gets a good launch. We've seen Payme get a really good race launch there last night at race start as well. And that really worked out for him well coming into turn 1 and 2. And it's going to be much the same here for Sheriff. So, a little bit of contact there between Fast Ginger and I believe Tron Kobe. And we got damage between 3 cars here. Tron comes back out here in 7th position. And he is up in beside Dark Cobra here side by side through the S's here. And Tron is going to nestle himself just up ahead of Dark Cobra there. And looks like Heathen settled in behind Dark Cobra here now as well. So a little bit of early on contact there coming into turns 1 and 2. The accordion effect got in. Looks like Fast Ginger got into Tron Kobe. And it looked like, I think it was Superman may have gotten into the back of Fast Ginger. There is a small amount of damage on those 3 drivers, but that is not good enough for the red flag situation. We are going to allow the racers to continue racing. That damage has already cleared these drivers' cars, and we got Fast Ginger already back up into P3. Unfortunately here for Tron, but Tron will start to put his pressure up in through the field here and will continue to do his thing. It's lap 1 of what we should expect to see. I believe it was 24 lap race. It was 24 lap race from our pros last night, so it's going to be a 23 to 24 lap race here. Lots of time and lots of things to happen here yet early on. So it is, again, Sheriff Doofy with the early race lead here. He's about 3/4 of a second up on Team Razadam Cat right now. We have Fast Ginger here in 3rd place. Egon there in 4th position, and a little bit of separation here to 5th and 6th place. Kilton Superman here right now, and then Tron is just right there, 3/4 of a second in behind those 2 as well. So a little bit of lag coming from, I believe, Kilt there on my screen, it looks like, and he is nestled in. Ooh, he's going to catch a track edge there. He got very fortunate that didn't send the car around into the Casio Triangle there. That could have been trouble for the drivers in behind. So thankfully that we avoided that situation there, and Tron is right up on Kilt here. So are we going to see the pass coming into turn number 1 and 2? There is. He's going to make that move up into the inside here, and he is going to send it into turn 1 and 2 and get that job done. So Tron Kobe very quickly starting to pick the field apart to try and get back on the rear bumper of that silver and blue orange car there. Just a couple cars up ahead of him there. So I mean, he can see Fast Ginger up there, and then of course the race leaders just a little bit further up, but Sheriff and the damn cat here are moving very quickly as we head in through the Dunlop curve here right now, coming out of the S's, and it is nose to tail here between the 2 racers, and a little bit of side-to-side movement there from, I think he was trying to scrub his tires off a little bit there, coming into the braking zone there, and he's just trying to get out of the way of the traffic there, and he is going to drop right down to the back of the field here. Oh my, Sheriff Doofy in 10th position here, still trying to get that car back on the tarmac surface here, and we got Medic here in 11th place. So early struggles here for a couple of our drivers, and Sheriff making a mistake there. And again, I think he was trying to scrub or get some dirt off his tires coming in under braking, and as he was wiggling back and forth when he hit the brakes there, he didn't get the reaction out of the car that I wanted, and just absolutely shot out wide there. Great job, great recognition to get out of the way and let the rest of the pack get through, but unfortunate there for Sheriff is now he has to come all the way back from the pack. But again, it is only lap number 2. We have plenty of race left here, and it looks like it is getting sunny here on the racetrack, so very similar weather pattern here this evening that we've seen from our Pro Division last night. And Tron Kobe is, he clips a curb, and oh boy, Tron Kobe is going to go hard into the wall there, then full 360 coming through 135R, one of the fastest sectors of the racetrack there, and he's going to nestle that car back on track, and oh boy, that car is going to be in a little bit of rough shape here for the next few seconds. It is just getting a little bit shaky here for Tron right now at the very early start of the race, but with that being said, we've seen 2 race starts like that from our Pro Division last night. We've seen Jake and Lucas369 both have very rough starts to their races. They settled in, they worked that race out, used that timer, used their strategy, used their pace, and did fight their way back up through the field. So we could very well potentially see the same thing from Tron Kobe here today as well. Definitely don't count the man out. He is our championship points leader after all. So Fast Ginger here under fire from Egon. Egon gets a great run into the Dunlop curve there, gets up the inside on Fast Ginger, and he is going to grab that position away from Fast Ginger, move himself up into 2nd position. So that was a great run there coming out of the S's from Egon, and a great pass there as well through Dunlop curve. So the Pro-Ams are definitely racing here today, and we're seeing already a couple of good side-by-side battles in places you typically don't see drivers necessarily make it too wide, but these pro-ams are up to the task here today, and it has provided for some great passes already very early on here in our race today. So it's Cobra here in 7th, we got Scary Guy in 8th, we got Troen in 9th, and on the way to recovery with Sheriff Doofy now tracking in behind here in 10th, and Medic closed up here in 11th position as well. So some of our drivers, you clipped that curve twice last night and had to save it. Scary, yeah, I agree. It is very, very difficult racetrack here at Suzuka. The Degners are a troublesome area of this racetrack. There, of course, turn 1 and 2 is also a very troublesome area. Spoon curve here, 135. I mean, really, all the corners here at Suzuka are kind of troublesome areas. If you just get it a little bit wrong, you can really pay the price. But right now, TDC Gaming is on the move. He's got 5.7 seconds here right now on the pack with those mistakes being made in behind him. And we've seen this happen with Payme last night, and Payme was able to continue to open the gap up to a point where he was comfortable, and he just drove it home to a win. So right now, TDC Gaming is trying to do exactly the same thing. He's got 5.6 seconds on Egon here in 2nd place, and Fast Ginger's 1.1 seconds behind him. Superman's starting to apply some heat here in 4th place. So Superman's moved up a couple of spots since race start. He started in 6th place here. He's been cool, calm, collected. He's just been picking up the pieces in the sense of the drivers making the mistakes in front of him. That's gotten him up into 4th place here, and now he's tracking in on Fast Ginger here as well. Now, as you know, he's had a cool, calm race start here. He's settled into his race car very early on. He's in a groove very early on, where some of these guys like Fast Ginger, Troen, some of these guys have made these early mistakes, are still trying to settle into their grooves, still trying to get into that rhythm potentially. So he has a small window of opportunity to try and take advantage of that potentially here as well. But Fast Ginger is trying to open the gap back up a little bit here on Superman as we come into the hairpin, and that's allowing Kilt to really close in here now as well. So again, you know, from about 2nd down through our 6th, 7th place positions again here tonight, it looks like we're going to see some good fighting from our racers. And the mid-pack always provides such great actions. It's always a fail-safe. It seems like the mid-pack is always spicy. We got Heathen here. He's 2.5 seconds in behind. We've got Dark Cobra, in 7th place. He is our AM leader here right now, 7th place overall. He's got 1.1 seconds in behind Heathen. Troen is tracking here, 2.5 seconds now on Dark Cobra. Back up into 8th place here. Sheriff is up into 9th, so they've navigated around Scary Guy here, and Medic is about 5 seconds in behind. So everybody is starting to settle into this race. Edward coming in with a like on Facebook. Appreciate you, my guy. Hope you're doing fantastic over there, and hope you and yours are well. Welcome in. Hope you enjoy the race tonight. So it is TDC Gaming here as we head into turn 1 and 2 on lap number 5, and very comfortably in the lead, 5.8 seconds over Egon in 2nd place. He's starting to open a gap up a little bit over that final podium position of Fast Ginger in behind, and he's got 2.5 seconds. So it's a cushion. That's about all it is. It's not comfortable, but it's enough room to make a small little error and not have Fast Ginger immediately breathing down his neck. It's Kilt here in 4th place. We've got Heathen in 5th position. Superman here in 6th with Cobra in 7th. So again, right from 3rd to 7th place here, getting very spicy. Cobra gets outside there in the Dunlop curve. He does a really good job actually of pulling it back into the racing track there. Typically if you get outside there, it just sucks you into the outside edge of the racetrack, but that has allowed Troen Kobe to close the gap up significantly, and then a secondary mistake coming through Degner 2 now allows Troen Kobe to get the job done on the inside on the exit. Troen Kobe can move up into 7th place. So we talked about this before the race started, the small mistakes here. Oh, and Superman around in trouble there too as well, trying to get that car turned around, getting a little secondary knock on the wall there, and a little too much maybe on the power coming out of the hairpin there is what that looked like, and got that car around sideways. So struggles here from some of our racers, and boy oh boy, it is definitely making things interesting here. We've seen this in the pro lobby last night as well, so don't fret. We are going to see some battles here on this racetrack still, I guarantee you. It's Fast Ginger here in 3rd place, and Egon is really moving quickly here to try and open the gap up as much as he can, and Kilt here in 4th place is starting to track in on Fast Ginger. So obviously with a mistake that we think anyways, so Superman was just speculating because we didn't see what happened there. But Kilt now up into 4th place and now trying to close in on Fast Ginger, and he's almost in that slipstream range at this point. He's about 1.1 seconds in behind. We've got Ethan here in 5th place, and he's looking good here so far tonight early on as well. He started in 9th position, keeping in mind today, so he's up 4 positions early on here. Trone is in 6th position. He had a rough start to the race, but in doing what Trone does here, he's just got it back in. He's got locked in. He's starting to put in these laps here, and we're seeing some consistency now starting to come down here as he settles into the race. The tires are starting to feel a little bit better under these race cars, and the drivers are probably starting to feel a little more comfortable. So the drivers are going to start settling into their paces here, and that should start seeing gaps close up and maybe open up a little bit here, but should be good for setting up our second stint here. Sheriff in 8th place. He's got 4.6 seconds on Dark Cobra, Superman here after whatever happened there. We figure, we just assume it was a mistake on the throttle out of the hairpin. That's a pretty normal thing to see out of that hairpin here with these high-powered cars like this, and we got Medic just chasing him behind in 10th place. So down a driver here, contact into the wall or something like that, causing the car to have to go in behind pit wall. So we are down one driver here this evening, and it is TDC Gaming here still in the lead. Now 7.5 seconds over Egon, and Egon hasn't lost any time to 3rd and 4th place right now. So TDC Gaming is just continuing to do exactly what he needs to do here right now, continuing to try and grow the gap. It's about a 35 to 40 second pit stop here for the drivers, depending on how much fuel that they choose to take. And of course, no damage repairs here necessary, so we don't need to worry about that extra time. You can see some war wounds on some of our racers' cars here already, as the front left headlamp there housing is all cracked and broken up a little bit here on Fast Ginger's car. We've got Kilt here in 4th position. Tron Kobe is starting to see Heathen here in the review mirror now, so 4.6 seconds gap to Kilt. And he has just navigated around Heathen here, so he was in behind Heathen. He's now past Heathen, and now he's trying to track back up to Kilt here. So it's Heathen here in 6th place, 1 second in behind Tron. We've got Sheriff here in 8th place. He's got 4.3 seconds in behind Dark Cobra. For some reason, we keep skipping Cobra tonight, and he is our current AM leader here right now as well on the racetrack, and he is being tracked down by Sheriff Doofy here slowly but surely. Superman also starting to track in here, and he is starting to try and close that gap up here on Sheriff a little bit as well. And it's overall 30 seconds to the race leader, so I mean, after a pit stop, that is still close enough to take the race lead away from the race leader, so that is close enough to still win this race. Strategy is going to be key here. We've seen 2-stop strategies coming from our pro division last night. That, of course, it was dry racing conditions for our pros last night. And so far, it's the same here tonight for our pro am, so we can expect to see a similar setup of racing here. We'll probably see a 2-stop strategy coming from these racers. We'll see a longer medium tire stint, and then a kind of long soft stint, and then a shorter soft stint, essentially, as long as rain doesn't factor into our event here this evening. We have Fast Ginger in 3rd place. Kilt is still right there in 4th place. He is 1.5 seconds in behind Ginger. So Ginger is trying to work on maintaining that gap and open that gap, because he stays tight to the inside pit wall there coming around the corner as well. That also makes the exit out of turn number 20 a little bit shorter. Obviously, it should gain him a little bit of time, but most drivers are going to come out in that wide exit into the racing line there, so it is going to essentially break the toe from the racer in behind, who at this point is Kilt, but Kilt isn't close enough to take advantage of that toe here right at the moment either, at a 1.5 seconds. But interesting strategy starting to develop as the racers start, again, like I said, to really settle into this race. We're at the 13-minute and 20-second mark now, and Trone has gone from 1st to 9th up into mid-pack, back down a couple spots, and now back up into 5th place, and he's 3.3 seconds in behind Kilt, so he is closing in on the Kilt racer in front of him there. We've got Heathen here in 6th position, really taking a lot of that Degner 1 curving there, and that is high risk there, high reward if you can get that right. You can see how much it bounced that car off the ground there, because these cars are so low to the ground, and the curves are so pronounced in some of the corners here at Suzuka that really can upset the racing car and create a uncomfortable experience for the racer in behind the wheel, but it didn't seem to affect him there that time. He got it just right, and it's all about timing, really, if you're going to use the curbing in these cars. So Medic here in 10th place, top 10 finish here for everybody now on track, so that's always a plus. Good points there. And it is number 999, Team Rad's the Damn Cat, TDC Gaming, with an 8.4 second lead in this first stint here. We're nearing the 14.5 minute mark. Egon is doing a good job now, just kind of keeping the gap where it is, 8.4 seconds. Looking good, Trone, looking good, Trone, absolutely. He's starting to come through, he's starting to come through here. Kilt in third place, and boy, Trone is just tracking. I mean, Trone is going into pit lane. All right, so Trone will be the first of our drivers to make a pit stop here, but just note that he was within 1.3 seconds of Kilt there before he made that pit stop. So we'll be keeping our eye on that timing gap here once this pit stop sequence officially flows through all our racers here. But some of the pack now making that first pit stop here, and then there's quite a bit of medium tire runners here. It looks like Superman is going to continue to go around here. Cobra comes in, Sheriff comes in, and of course Tron Kobe came in there. So the drivers are going to come out on a fresh set of tires. They're going to come out with some new fuel load in the car, but not a full fuel tank, and that's going to allow them to move a little bit quicker around the racetrack, and that should also help them save a little extra tire duration as well, not having the extra weight now in the fuel tank of the car. So again, part of the strategy when you're racing as well, how many laps are you going to run early on before you make that change to your next set of tires, and how much weight do you want to carry when you come off those tires? Try and maximize time around the racetrack. Ultimately, getting a little bit of clean air helps, but that's not necessarily always the case. So 8.3 seconds is gap between TDC Gaming and Egon. Egon's now got 7.6 seconds over Kilt here, who's in third position. That puts Heathen 9 seconds in here. In behind him, Fast Ginger is 3.4 seconds in behind Heathen. Superman is about 10 seconds there. Trone is 3.6 seconds behind Superman right now. And again, we have pit stop sequences kind of flowing through here right now, so it's really hard to gauge exactly what these gaps are until we get this whole rotation of pit stops through the field here. So from first place to 10th place right now is about a minute, so it's about half a lap. And that is Pro-Am to Am pace, so we're not too surprised to see that at almost a halfway point of the race. I would say at the third way point of the race, I guess at this point we're just about 17 minutes gone. Pretty good pace here for the most part for the lobby. Just again, no small mistakes separating the field, and now pit stop sequence obviously, so not a whole lot happening here right now. We got Superman now coming into pit lane. He's going to make his first pit stop, so we'll see where that brings him out in correlation to the drivers that have made the pit stops already. We have Cobra here in 7th. He's going to grab that spot. Superman's going to drop down a spot to Sheriff as Sheriff comes around there as well. And let's see what Medic is going to choose to do here as he comes around. He has lots of tire life there under his race car. He's got lots of fuel in the tank, but he is going to come into pit lane. And if he's got good tires like that, ooh, what did we just see there? Was that Kilt? That was Kilt we just seen. Having complications again in Degner 2. So Degner 2 has claimed 3 or 4 of our racers here already early on today, and I'm sure that Degner 2 is not done with these racers yet. It is a very difficult corner. For some reason, Degner 1 you're coming in faster into, and it seems like it's easier to navigate than Degner 2, and I think it's just you come in, you get on a little bit on the brakes to make the first Degner, and then you got to get lined back up, and you have a very short distance to line up and get on your brakes, stay in a straight line of brakes quick enough, and then of course get onto the apex of the second Degner. You don't want to take too much of the curve there because that can unsettle the car. There's a lot of things going on, I guess, in that corner, and maybe that's why we see the Degners be such a problem for racers here at Suzuka, but definitely causing problems for our Pro-Am division here tonight. Egon now coming into pit lane, so the pit stop sequence is now starting to flow through here. I'm not sure if Kilt is coming in. We'll have to wait and see as he comes through the Casio Triangle here. box, yeah. And Kilt is also kind of come in here. He's got fuel. He's still got pretty good tires. So Heathen is going to continue on around. He's going to take over the race lead here on lap number 10. That's going to leave Fast Ginger going through here. Fast Ginger has quite a bit of fuel left in his racing car as well. So he is also going to continue around, but he does not get ahead of TDC Gaming and Egon here. He actually comes out right up in behind Egon's rear bumper there. Egon does get to the apex there and owns the inside line in that situation, as that is where pit lane exit puts him out. So that was a great navigation there between the two racers. Tro and Kobe here in 5th place. It's 6 seconds here to Fast Ginger. We got Cobra here in 6th. We've got Sheriff here in 7th position. We've got Kilt here in 8th place. And Kilt made that mistake, and that was really, really unfortunate there for Kilt, and that's going to cost him some time here on the racetrack, but still lots of race left. We have a little over 30 minutes remaining yet. Superman here in 9th position, and there we go. Medic here rounding out the field in 10th position, and there is no give in this guy. This guy just does not give up. He just continues to race. He continues to get that experience. He continues to get that very important seat time. So I really enjoy watching Medic race, because I mean, no matter what's happening to this guy during a race, he just goes. He just keeps going. He looked very close. You're right, Cole. You're right. Let's go take a peek. We don't see the penalty over Egon's car here, so it looks like the stewards deemed that it was a clean entry. So, but I do tend to agree with you there. It was very, very close. Fast Ginger not too far in behind him here. What is that gap there between them? 1.1 seconds. So the pit stop didn't really change a whole lot there between the two drivers. They were fairly close together before the pit stop, but I can't remember what the time gap was now. So Heathen is now coming into pit lane. He's going to make his pit stop here, but Fast Ginger hasn't made a pit stop yet, keeping in mind either, so that will shuffle him back into the field here a little bit when he finally does decide to make that pit stop. So it's 4.2 seconds between TDC and Egon. So Egon cut into 4 seconds of that gap, about 4.5 seconds of that gap over TDC Gaming with that pit stop sequence. So the win on the pit stop here is definitely going to belong to Egon on pit stop number 1 here, but we still have a lot of racing left to go. We've got Fast Ginger here in 3rd place, and again, still owing a pit stop here, and we're kind of, and he makes the mistake, and there goes Tro and Kobe. Oh boy, he almost gets into Tro in there. He may have actually just made slight contact there with Tron coming back onto the racing track, and thankfully Tron sticks onto the tarmac surface there, and he is going to move up into 3rd place right now after his pit stop. So I feel like we're trying, again, I feel like we're seeing a either very modified 2-stop strategy coming from Fast Ginger here, or a potential 1-stop attempt here from him. I'm not sure what it is exactly that he's got up his sleeve right now, but that is what it appears so far as we continue around the racetrack. Every racer has pit by now at the 20-minute mark with the 50-minute race. I mean, we're at 22 minutes in, and he definitely has the fuel to make the halfway mark of the race. The question is, though, how comfortable does he feel in those tires? By the mistake we just seen him make, and maybe that tire degradation starting to kick in a little bit, and just caught him off guard there, but I guess we'll have to wait and see what's up his sleeve here. So it's TDC Gaming, and it's 3.8 seconds right now from Egon. So Egon is on the move. Egon is tracking. Egon is hungry for a win here today. He looks real solid on the racetrack here today. He's had a lot of really great racing starts here this season. It's been the finish of the race that's been the struggle for Ten Tenths Egon here this season. So we're at about that point here again in Egon's race where he does lose his focus, or the strategy doesn't work out in his favor, or whatever the case may be. But it seems like he is definitely locked in here tonight. We've got Tron all the way back up into 3rd place. He's 4.5 seconds in behind Egon, and I mean, he's in an alright spot right now. He's got a 9-point lead over, a 10-point lead over TDC Gaming right now. TDC has a position in hand over Tron here right now. So that, I mean, that's not going to put TDC ahead of Tron in a sense right now as it stands in the standings. It'll draw TDC a little bit closer, but the important thing is there's where Fast Ginger's sitting right now, currently in 8th place after I assume a pit stop, and that is what we're seeing there. So just a slightly modified 2-stop strategy potentially here from Fast Ginger, or he was thinking about attempting a 1-stop strategy until he made that mistake and decided that, you know what, I just got to go with what the group is doing here and take the 2-stop strategy here. However, with that being said, he maybe will make a severe undercut style strategy here now and pit earlier than the rest of the field and try to do the big undercut. We did see that in the pro lobby last night, and it actually worked out pretty well for the driver that attempted it. So Still a lot of options on the table for all the racers here. It all depends on how the cars are feeling for him here right now. So Tyrone recovering quite well. Sheriff now up into 4th place here, so he has 5.4 seconds for the podium right now, and he's got Dark Cobra kind of right there on top of him. So our AM leader currently sitting up in 5th place here right now on the racetrack, and he's 7/10 of a second behind Sheriff Doofy here on the racetrack. We got Kilt in 6th place after the all said and done after that first pit stop sequence. Kilt losing a couple of positions in about 20 seconds there after that one or potentially maybe 2 mistakes on the racetrack in that one lap there. So not ideal, but we've seen can definitely be made up here. Superman is a little bit in behind there in 7th place, 13-second gap. Fast Ginger here in 8th position as well, and his off definitely costing him a little bit of time here as well, and now sitting in behind Superman, but he is going to be able to charge around the track quite a bit longer if he chooses to than the rest of the drivers, because he did stop so late into the race on that first pit stop. So it's going to be interesting to see what he decides to do now. He may we're going to take a look and see what he's got for fuel in the car, and that might determine on what he might be thinking here for the rest of the race as well. But right now it's TDC Gaming, and he's starting to float the gap back open a little bit here. It was down to 3.3-ish. Now we're back up to 4.7, so a 1.5-second gain here in the last lap on Egon. So maybe a small mistake made by Egon, or TDC is just starting to hook up here, and he is now going to try and continue to work on that gap. But I suspect we see a small mistake from Egon as Tyrone Colby has gained about that 1.5 on his time difference between Egon and 3rd place here as well. So I'm going to say a small mistake made by Egon here has set him a little bit in behind the race leader here, and that's now allowed Tyrone Colby to close in close enough to potentially start thinking about a move in a couple, maybe 2-3 laps. We'll have to see how the next couple laps go here, but Tyrone Colby all of a sudden potentially looking at 2nd place here, as Egon is now under a second in front there. So that little short curled close to the pit wall there gained Tyrone almost 2/10 on Egon, just by Egon's flowing around the flow of the track, taking the racing line there. So in some instances you can gain time on your competitor very subtly here, and we've seen Fast Ginger making the same line through the final corner there as well. So it is definitely determined here that is gaining time on the racers that are just sticking to the racing line on the exit of turn number 20 here, and there was point in case right there as these two drivers went through the corner. But we suspected that already based off of another situation earlier in the race we saw. But now Tyrone really closing in on Egon here. I mean, Tyrone is in pressure mode here at this point. He is half a car length in behind, and he ain't messing around. Tyrone is just going to put himself inside there. Egon maybe not seeing him there, realizing as a little bit of tire rubbing got happened there, and Tyrone is going to settle in back in behind here and re-engage the battle. And this is a case of VR versus non-VR as well. So Egon having a lot more to have to deal with as far as visuals go than Tyrone does. Is Egon has to actually turn his head where he wants to look, but Tyrone can just look at his radar down at the bottom corner of the screen if that's what he chooses to run. So there's a little bit of a difference there, and sometimes that causes that non-incidental contact we see quite a bit lately in league racing. And a lot of that sometimes is just due to the difference in driving equipment that the racers are using. The VR is quite a bit different in how the game looks and appears and what you can see, and of course you have to drive in the cockpit of the car as the only option in the VR headset. And in this particular car and the LMP1 cars this season, that's been very noted. There is some blind spotting obviously with the A-pillars, just with the design of these racing cars. So and here we go. Tyrone's going to try it again. He's going to go up the inside here on Egon into turn 1 and 2. We're going to make a little bit of contact here as Egon is trying very hard to hold the outside line there. And Tyrone Colby's going to get the job done. So Tyrone's going to move up into 2nd position there as we head up into the S's. And Egon's just going to fall in behind here into 3rd place. So still on that podium. But now Sheriff starting to try and track in here as well. 3.6 seconds in behind. Now less than that as he comes around here. And 9 seconds from the overall race lead right now. So TTC's trying to again open that gap up, but he's not succeeding quite as efficiently here in the second stint as opposed to that first stint. The racers have now settled into their rhythms, they're settled into their race cars, and it is race on here now. So Cobra here up in 5th place. We've got Kilt in 6th position here as well as he continues to track around at 16 seconds right now up into that group of cars up ahead. Superman is in 7th position here with Fast Ginger closing in here 3.8 seconds. So it's slow progress here right now for Fast Ginger here in the middle of the pack. But again, we don't know what he's got up his sleeve. He's on a slightly different strategy than the rest of the field right now as far as that tire. How long he decided to stay on the medium tires went. So it's going to be interesting to see how he decides to handle that into the next pit stop sequence. And we've got Medic still rocking and rolling here in 10th place, and he really hasn't lost any more time to the race leaders since everybody has kind of settled into the racing positions. Nice side by side at turn 1 by both Tron and Egon. Absolutely great battle there between the two. Good hard racing right there, and Tron Kobe ends up coming out on top of that battle here. So I mean, it speaks volumes for Tron Kobe. He had a very rough start here. Ooh, and he catches a little track edge there again, but doesn't hurt him too much there. But he had a very rough start in this race there. You got accordioned down into the pack a little bit there at the race start, climbed his way back up a little bit, made a mistake, fell back down, and now he is 4 seconds from the race leader at the 30-minute mark of the race. So he is having an outstanding drive here today right now, and that is a determined racer looking to try and win a championship. We've seen Tron Kobe get into this phase in other championships and other organizations here in Gran Turismo 7, and when he gets locked into chasing the trophy mode, you really got to be flawless against him, because he does things like he's doing today, making it just an incredible attempt at a recovery drive here right now. Sheriff here in 4th place, much of the same thing for him. He was a pole sitter here today, went off into Degner 1, and that cumulative mistake allowed the whole group of cars to go around essentially, except for one, because it was the first or second lap of the race, and everybody's still so close together. So he's also in that recovery mode here, and 2.6 seconds is behind that final podium position here as well at the 31-minute mark of the race. So two drivers here having a really great recovery run right now. Dark Cobra here, he's our AM leader. He's 5th place overall on track here. He's having a really good run here tonight too as well. Just hasn't been quite as exhilarating maybe as some of the other drivers that have been having some good hard battles here on the track. Got Kilt, he has been up as far as 2nd place here at some point in the race, and just made a 1 or 2 mistakes. We've seen one mistake for sure, and a little bit off the pack here right now, but plenty of race left to go yet. We're going to see another set of pit stops from these drivers yet, and that could change things up a bit. So Superman is starting to track in on Kilt here a little bit. That gap was about 13.3, 13.4. It's now down to about 12.5 seconds. It's Fast Ginger's about 2.5 seconds in on closer, now behind Superman, meaning he's about a second closer. So both these racers now starting to track in on the 6th place driver here a little bit as well. He is in 9th place here. He had a really great racing start here. Just falling off the pack a little tiny bit here. Not sure why. We may have missed a couple of incidents here on the racetrack. And again, Suzuka, even for myself, when I have to compete and run around Suzuka here, I struggle with this racetrack. It gets you. You just the smallest moment of concentration break, and you pay the price for it every time here. So you miss one braking zone, you're not quite in the right line into a corner. All those things really do factor in here at Suzuka. And you know, on a lot of racetracks, you can get a little bit tiny outside that exit curbing, and you'll be okay. Still, here at Suzuka, it's very dangerous. As you can see right there by Sheriff Doofy, he's going to move in, lose a spot there to Dark Cobra. That's actually going to put Dark Cobra now up into 4th place overall, and we're actually going to go take a look at exactly that, because you can see there he just went wide. He got out into the grass there a little bit, and oh boy, does a great job wheeling that car around, keeping it out of the wall though, doesn't he, ladies and gentlemen? Great recovery there from Sheriff Doofy, and he's still on those dirty tires here right now, so he's still gathering that car up a little bit, but He's gonna bring it into pit lane. He's just gonna get rid of those tires. He's gonna take a fresh set here. It's about that time in the race where we're seeing those pit stops come in. 29 laps, I think we've seen in the Pro Division last night. That makes more sense. Egon here in second position as well. We've got Dark Cobra in pit lane making his second stop. We got Sheriff making his second stop, and we got Tron Kobe making his second stop, and what I would assume to be their final stops. However, we did see Tron pull out a very alternate 3-stop strategy last week for a pretty great race, so we don't know what's on the board. We really don't. It's just a guessing game. So 9.7 seconds now is the gap from the Damn Cat to Egon here. So the Damn Cat basically got that gap back up to where it was before the first pit stop sequence. Maybe a little bit more than it was before the first pit stop sequence, but Tron is tracking here. So after the pit stop... Oh, we've lost Ethan here. Oh my. Alright, down to 9. So 26 seconds is the gap to second place. It's 36.7 seconds to first place. Those two drivers still need to make a pit stop. We speculate that it's about 35 to 40 seconds, depending on the amount of fuel that the racers take in these race cars during that pit stop. So Tron Kobe is right there to come out right in behind these guys when they finally do decide to make that pit stop. So Tron is definitely using pit strategy to gain more track position here as well. So I tell you, Tron is when he is in championship mode, you gotta be perfect. You really do gotta be perfect. Nice save from Sheriff for not crashing the car on track as well. Respect, absolutely. Very aware racer Sheriff is. He's been, like I said, a great addition here to the racing community here at GT45 in the Prototype Challenge. So definitely glad to have him on track, and he is going to be a great racer, and already is a great racer, you can tell. So Tron is going to jump ahead of Egon with that pit stop, and you can see it's 35.4 seconds. So not only is he close enough to potentially go ahead of TDC Gaming after he pits, he's also tracking in on TDC Gaming as well before he pits. So Tron's in a good position here right now. Egon's 5.3 seconds in behind. We got Fast Ginger here in 4th place. 2 seconds in behind. We got Dark Cobra here in 5th. We got Sheriff in 6th. We got Superman here in 7th place. Man, that fuel can in that car there as Kill comes around should grab that position from Superman there, move himself up into 7th position. And Medic now finds himself up in a 9th place, and all he's doing is just continuing to be very resilient. He's just continuing to put his time in. He's putting his laps, and he's getting that ever so valuable seat time, and he's just chilling and doing his thing. And now up into 9th place here as well, 2nd place in the AM division here today. So doing a great job there as Medic. And sometimes it pays just to finish the race and get across the checkered flag. I can tell you what. A huge undercut, yes, THG, absolutely big undercut here. So there we go. There's the pit stop coming from TDC Gaming. The gap was 34.4 seconds when he came in. We speculate on a 35-second pit stop. Let's see where Tron comes out in relation to TDC. This is going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be Tron in behind by a second or two, TDC in behind Tron by a second or two, or they're going to come out side by side coming into turn number 1. That's about how this is going to shape up. You can see the fuel's being loaded into TDC Gaming's car right now. It's at about 50% fuel load. These drivers are looking like they're taking about 75% fuel, and he's only going to take 56% fuel here. He probably is aware that Tron is coming around, so here we go. And it is about a couple seconds ahead of Tron here. Looks like it's going to be 4.3 seconds here. So TDC Gaming only taking 56% of fuel. Now as we sit here on Tron's car, he's sitting on about 60 to 65% fuel. We go to Egon, it's much of the same thing from him. We got Fast Ginger here who has to make a pit stop here, so we can't really relate. Dark Cobra has a little more than that in his racing car. Sheriff also more than that. So the biggest question I have now is, was that a panic that Tron was coming around the corner? He was aware, the team was on the radio saying, okay, Tron's coming, we're close, okay, we got enough, go. And does he have enough? And now, on top of it, the 3-second pit lane infraction penalty with a gap of 3.8 seconds on Tron Kobe. That's going to put Tron right on the rear bumper of the Damn Cat here. So get ready for a battle for the race lead here, ladies and gentlemen, because it is coming very soon, I think. We've got Egon in third place. He's 6.7 seconds in behind our race leaders here right now. Oh, and we got a yellow flag up ahead. What is the yellow flag? It is not our race leaders. It's a yellow flag actually in front of our race leaders here, potentially. No, that's just a penalty being served. So a car is stricken in trouble there, and there it is. Tron Kobe's taking the race lead away from TDC Gaming here on lap number 21 due to that pit lane penalty. And here we go, race on. Now, undercut has worked. It's gotten Tron in the lead with a little help from track officials handing out that 3-second penalty there to TDC Gaming. But again, the big question mark, does he have the fuel in the car to make it the rest of the way? I have my questions about that. And the second question is, he does have fresher soft tires by a couple laps. Is that going to be enough to pull him back in as Tron's tires start to wear down? That is also a question mark here for that battle for the lead right now. Egon 4.7 seconds in behind TDC after that 3-second penalty, and he's 3.4 seconds ahead of Dark Cobra, who is our AM leader here, keeping in mind as well 4th place overall. Got Sheriff Doofy here in 5th place. He's 4.3 seconds in behind our AM leader and starting to try and close that gap, and you can see it is closing as he heads through the S's there. We got Fast Ginger here. He's in pit lane, and he is taking quite a bit of fuel here, and I suspect that is in a charge to send it the rest of this race. I think we're going to see a little bit of push come from Fast Ginger here, taking a little extra fuel so he can drive the car maybe a little bit harder here around the track, try to get some track position. Right now, Fast Ginger not where he wanted to be at this point in the race here, I'm sure, coming into tonight. But it is this man right here who has responded to some adversity here today, and he is less than 10 minutes away from going all the way to the back of the pack, coming back to the middle of the pack, going all the way back to the back of the pack, basically, and now leading this race at the a little over 40-minute mark here, as TDC Gaming is 2.6 seconds in behind him. We've got Egon here in 3rd place. He's 4.5 seconds in behind the race leaders. Can't discount Egon here yet either. Sheriff here is 7.8 seconds in behind Egon, so a little mistake or something made there. He's lost a little bit of time to the podium here. Dark Cobra 7 seconds in behind, and then we got some gaps there. It's 3.8 seconds for Superman Kilt here, however, so Superman is trying to track in on the backside of Ten Tenths Kilt there, but Ginger is in slipstream range here of Superman for that 7th place position here overall as well. Now, it is noted that Superman is our 4th place overall driver in the championship point standings here as well for the Pro-Ams. He's got a little bit of a points differential between himself and the rest of the pack. However, he missed a race a couple of weeks ago, so that essentially is going to factor in as his drop around this season, as long as he makes the remainder of the races this season. So we can't actually discount the fact that Superman is within 20 or less points in this championship here either. So his race today is also quite important, and he's ultimately going to want to try and finish ahead Fast Junior as well. So like I said, there's a lot of things that haven't been factored in for these points yet, and that is the drop round being the biggest one. So it's Tron Kobe, and here we go. The gap is starting to close, 1.8 seconds. It is getting darker on the racetrack here. The clouds was set back in, much like our Pro Division last night, and it did start to get a little bit foggy here at points near the end of the race in our last Eve's race as well. So the weather pattern very similar here tonight at Suzuka. Again, we have TDC at 1.7 seconds. We're definitely keeping an eye on 1st and 2nd place here, and those two have checked out. I mean, Egon 6.2 seconds in behind here. Sheriff Doofy's closing in on Egon a little bit there as well. Dark Cobra, and just a couple of gaps here. We got Ginger and Superman there. That's separated by 1.5 seconds now, and it is a couple of developing battles here on the racetrack, but nothing significant quite yet. So sitting on board here with Tron, he is 1.7 seconds ahead of TDC as we head into turns 1 and 2 here and heading into the S's. And oh boy, I mean, it is race on here at this point. It is mistakes can be made between either one of these two drivers. It has to be flawless from here on to the end of the race, and it is best man for themselves here right now on this racetrack. And right now, it is currently Tron Kobe. He is running purple sector there, but you can see TDC Gaming in behind does currently hold the fastest lap on track as well with a 145.492. So these two obviously very equally paced, and it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting. Egon 7 seconds in behind. Sheriff has lost a little bit more time to Egon, and there's some front splitter damage here, so making another mistake here on the racetrack, and that has potentially taken him right out of that potential fight for the podium. But we got three-way battle here between Kilt, Superman, and Fast Ginger now, so Kilt was ahead of these two racers, must have made a slip up here somewhere, and Superman's actually taking advantage of that slip up, now moving himself up into 6th place, and Fast Ginger is now closing in on Kilt there in 8th position here as well. A little bit of a track edge there. You can see the pros have really been flirting with the track limits here and getting those tires into some dirty areas of the racetracks, which can create some dangerous situations for our racers. But risk versus reward, that's always the case on the racetrack, and sometimes you gotta just send it to try and get that extra couple tenths you need. But appreciate you, Cole. Appreciate you, my guy. Right now it's Tron Colby 2 seconds, and now Tron is like, okay, you know what? I'm good. I've got the fuel. We've got the tire. It is time to go. TDC Gaming has not let up. It is go time. So Tron has essentially taken it to the next level. He has stepped it up here, and it is up to TDC Gaming here in 2nd place now to respond. So 2 seconds is the gap. I mean, it's not a great big increase, but when you have 5 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock, that 3 tenths is an eternity of time on the racetrack. However, purple sector here from TDC Gaming as he heads up into the Dunlop curve, and oh boy, I mean, so closely paced are these two here right now on the racetrack. It could potentially come down to these two making a mistake there tonight. I don't know. Egon here as he heads around Degner 1 into Degner number 2 is looking really solid. He's having a great race here tonight as well. He's looking to lock down that final podium position. We got Sheriff here in 4th position with Dark Cobra here in 5th place, and it's been a fairly uneventful race for Cobra here, but doing really well here on the racetrack, just keeping it cool, keeping it calm, trying to keep it collected, just trying to keep the car on track here, and he's being rewarded with a 5th place overall finish here right now. Of course, 1st place in his division. Superman here in 6th place, and you can see Kilt there in behind, just still in the slipstream range, but not quite close enough to attack here. And you can tell the drivers are pushing here. They're starting to stretch the track limits a little bit there. You're starting to see them put it into the grass a little bit there, and you can see Fast Ginger almost looks defeated in a sense in his driving style right now. He's just kind of chilling in there. The attitude of his car is just really just kind of bringing it around the racetrack right now. You don't see him really trying to push. You don't really see him laying back, but he seemed like he's like, okay, I'm just gonna try and do what I can do here in the last 4 minutes and see what happens. But double points for him next week's race. Everything is up for grabs here still, but it is Tron Kobe, and he's now opening up 2.1 seconds, trying to go at 2.2 here. And like I said, I suspect that TDC is going to be iffy on fuel here. I could be wrong, and the rest of the drivers could have just overfueled. TDC could be bang on the money. However, in a situation where you may need to race hard for a race win at the end of the race, you may want to have a couple extra liters in the tank just in case, but we'll see what happens. We got Sheriff here, he's in 4th place, they gap 17 seconds, so Egon just needs to keep it mean and clean here, and he'll lock down podium for himself here tonight as well. And we're starting to see the gaps start out a little bit here. 1.7 seconds, Superman starting to lose. Kilt in behind here a little bit. Fast Ginger's about 1.3 seconds in behind Kilt there, and we got Medic still moving and grooving here. May not be a lap down here on the racetrack, but great job here from all the racers that are still remaining on the racetrack here. Anyways, this evening a couple of cars stricken in behind pit wall here at various parts of the race, but 9 drivers still absolutely flying around the Suzuka GP here. And Tron Kobe had 2.2, now it's down to 1.6, so it's giving a little, taking a little between the two drivers here right now, between Damcat and Tron Kobe, and with 2 minutes and 25 seconds on the clock, it's going to be 2 to go here. as Tyrone Kobe comes through the caster triangle. But TTC Gaming very hot on his heels here. That gap is now half a second, and it is go time. But you can see again, Tyrone took that short line through turn 20 there. I think TTC stuck up to the racing line there. He regained 2 tenths back there, so that's going to be something TTC is paying attention to here in that final couple of runs through there. Egon here in third position at 17.2 seconds down the road from, up the road from Sheriff Doofy. Sheriff here in fourth place. We got Cobra here in fifth, Superman in sixth, Kilt in seventh, Fast Ginger here in eighth, Medic in ninth. It's going to be Heathen finishing 10th, and it's going to be Scary Guy in 11th here today. 2 drivers in behind pit wall here. Let's go, says Bebe. So it is Tyrone Kobe here, and doing what Jakey did and Lucas did last night, starting off really in the wrong direction and finishing in the right direction. So 2.7 seconds, and boy, oh boy, I mean, you can tell these two racers are just trying so hard not to allow this battle to happen. Tyrone trying to keep the gap far enough where TDC can't attack, but TDC trying to close the gap up enough to where he can attack. Suspicions are starting to come to fruition here. The gap is opening up quickly here between Tyrone and TDC Gaming, and that is going to be because TDC Gaming is fuel saving. We are going to see that 7-second gap between Egon and TDC Gaming potentially deplete very quickly here. Sheriff in fourth place with Dark Cobra in fifth, so potentially even Sheriff may have a stab at grabbing podium here, depending if TDC Gaming can keep enough fuel in that car to get him far enough around the racetrack before he runs out, because it is a long 40-mile-per-hour run around Suzuka when you're out of fuel. So not ideal situation right now for TDC Gaming, and that has been one of his biggest struggles this season, is that fuel calculations. And boy, I mean, he's sitting on like 4, maybe 5 liters of fuel right now in this prototype car, and he has got 3.6 miles of track left here on the final lap. Is Egon here in third place, and where is Sheriff going to get around here? If he gets across the line in time, he has a very long shot at picking up podium, and he does get across that line in time. So it's going to be Dark Cobra to be first to take the checkered flag here today, and it's going to be an AM Division win for Dark Cobra and 5th place overall here for him today. So that was a great job by him. Oh no, Superman, it's a 135R right at the end of the race there, gets it wrong. Yeah, and he's going to go off track there. Huge hit on that rear quarter panel of the car there. And Kilt and Fast Ginger are going to grab those positions there. And I think Fast Ginger is waiting for Superman. I think so. I think he was waiting for Superman there. We've got Medic here in 9th position as he comes around the racetrack. And I'm not sure if there was maybe contact between the two of them leading into that corner, perhaps, but there was some separation between the two drivers there, so I'm not sure what that was. But again, Fast Ginger maybe just not pleased with his race here tonight, and that's just again a sign of just defeat here in round number 9. But we still have round 10. It's a double points round, and it is anybody's game next week at St. Quasi. So very big, wide open racetrack. There's lots of room for these cars to run and race, and it's going to be an interesting finale here next week. So Tyrone, what else to say? Absolute fantastic drive here from Tyrone Kobe. Amazing recovery. It's going to be a first place finish for him. He is absolutely pleased. TDC here in second place. He is just going to have enough fuel to keep Egon from closing in here. He's going to beat Egon by 2.7 seconds. Egon's going to take that final podium position here in third place, and Sheriff is going to bring it home here in fourth position here today as well. And that was a good recovery drive here from Sheriff as well. He had a very similar style start to his race, ended up in the back of the pack, and he ended up coming back up all the way to fourth place. So Tyrone and Sheriff both with great recovery drives right there on track here tonight. But Tyrone Kobe, this is the heart of a champion right here, ladies and gentlemen, from THG's racing team. This guy may not be touchable here now as we head into St. Quasi. What an absolutely fantastic recovery drive here from Tyrone Kobe. I don't know what else to say. Congratulations to all the racers, but wow, what a race. Tyrone Kobe with the race win here. It's going to be Damn Cat in second place, but he is going to take that fastest lap point, which is also important. Egon there in third place for the final podium here today. It's going to be Sheriff in fourth place. It's going to be Dark Cobra fifth overall, first place for our AM division. It's going to be Kilt in sixth position. It's going to be Fast Ginger in seventh. Superman here in 8th position. It's going to be Medic finishing in 9th place. He's in 10th, and Scary Guy in 11th place. Whew, that was a pretty juicy little race right there, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, what else can we say there? Good job to our Pro-Ams and our AMs tonight on a very tough racetrack with what could have been potentially a very difficult racing set of conditions as well. But the rain, again, stayed away for our Pro-Ams here tonight. It gave our drivers a dry track to race on, and that provided us for a pretty interesting race here tonight for sure. So just bear with me here. We got to get up and get the interviews all set up. While we're doing that, we'll share out the replay here. And what an absolutely incredible drive here by Trone, by Sheriff. Well, just these guys are just incredible what they can do, and the type of adversity that they can face and overcome it so quickly. Heart of a champion. I mean, I don't know what else to say there. That was a pretty incredible drive there from Drone Kobe, and I mean, what else do you say? What else do you? It was just an incredible drive. Can't wait to hear what his take on it is. That's for sure. That's for sure. It'll be an interesting interview here this evening. Some tags. All right. This is painful how long this takes, isn't it? All right, come on. There we go. All right. So let's go up into our booth. All right, we got all of our podium interviewees here already as well. So we will start with our AM division winner, and then we'll move into our Pro-Am podium finishers here as well. So we will go and have a few words with TPC's Dark Cobra first, and then we will go ahead and chat with our overall top three, who of course, not always, but in this instance here in round number 9, our overall top 3 here as well in the race today. So just give me a moment to make a couple of quick adjustments here. That's totally the wrong button. Apologize. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there we go. Now we got everything working in the right direction here. So, like we were just saying, we are going to start with our AM winner here, TPC Dark Cobra, and having a good race here today, coming in 5th place overall as well here on track, and another great drive here from you this weekend. You know, at the beginning of the broadcast, of course, there was a lot of things factoring into potentially how this race could shape up as far as the weather goes specifically, and of course, we speculated on how penalties and just not making too many mistakes on the track is going to be really important to having a good solid race finish here today, and I feel like that was exactly the case here for you. It was a quiet race. We didn't see too many battles coming from you in the mid pack here today, and it seemed like that you just kind of kept the car safe, just tried to keep it on track, keep it out of trouble, and were rewarded with a really great overall finish for 5th place here, but also the AM win here today as well. So congratulations on that. Talk us through how your night was.
Yeah, thanks, Ghost. Yeah, it was, honestly, that was like the hopes, was to keep it out of the grass, to keep it on the track and not to have too many mistakes. I made too many mistakes near the end of the race, lost the position to Sheriff, and I mean, I ended up keeping it on track, but it would have been nice to finish 4th and then not a lap down, but, you know, that's the way it goes sometimes. But other than that, it was a pretty solid race and went more or less according to the way I wanted it to.
Absolutely, and it seemed like the weather was almost picture perfect mirror image of Monday night's race here as well. You know, you guys started off with qualifying and race start under some overcast conditions, a cooler racetrack. Then it settled into a more sunnier middle part of the race, and then again the track changed quite a bit, went back down into some darker conditions. At any point during that race, did it look like there was rain coming in on the weather radar, or was that something that you were really concerned about at the point in the race?
I caught myself looking at the radar once and coming into the chicane, almost ran straight into the wall. Had to brake hard, and so I ended up turning the radar off and not worrying about it for about the last 8 minutes or so of the race. But yeah, I mean, when it got dark near the end, it definitely made me think and you know re-strategize a little bit in the event that there was some rain. But fortunately, there wasn't.
Absolutely, and I mean, this is the last time this season that we need to have a potential rain in the back of our minds as we head to the French track Saint Croix next week for our finale. We're going to see an hour-long race there, ladies and gentlemen, as well for our racers at Saint Croix. So, I mean, you know, great race finish here for you. You've got a pretty good lock, I think, now on the points in the AM division. So, I guess what's your focus heading into our last race of the season next week?
Continue doing what I'm doing. Get some practice in, and learn the track a little bit with this car. Everybody I think has driven that track before, and with the fun cars and the Group Fours and the coupes and whatnot. But not many people have driven it in an LMP. So get on track, check the speed, get to learn the corners. It is a pretty fast track from my understanding, so we'll see how it pans out.
Absolutely, and it's definitely a racing racetrack. It's very wide, and a very, like you said, very fast track. It's very well suited for high downforce cars, as a matter of fact. But definitely a technical racetrack as well. There's several corners on St. Quad C, and there's different styles and technicalities of these corners at St. Quad C as well. So it should make for a pretty good, interesting race. And again, it's good for the racers because there's room for the racers to make mistakes, still keep it on the tarmac surface, and also allow room for other racers to react and navigate around safely as well. So it should be an interesting race. But the double points, and it's going to be a reverse grid based off championship point standings. You're kind of somewhere right in the middle, so I suspect you'll be starting somewhere right in the middle of the pack. Does that change on how you approach, say, practice and strategy for a finale race?
No, I've been staying pretty consistent with the way that I've practiced, with the way that I've gone into each track, and I just want to keep it that way. I don't want to change anything. I don't want to, think of the checkered flag too early or anything like that. It's a race, so it's up for grabs by anybody, and this field is packed with anyone that can take the checkered flag at any point in time. So go in and work on it and compete and see how we come out next week.
Absolutely, very well said. And with that being said, final remarks and shout outs to the viewers watching at home.
Well, thank you, viewers, for tuning in. It was a great race. Thank you to all the racers. Congratulations, Tron, Estes, and Egon for a fantastic race. That was a lot of fun. I appreciate everybody. TT, thank you very much. GT45 Gaming and TPC, thanks for all the support and encouragement. And one more race to go.
One more race to go, absolutely. Well, congratulations on a great performance here again today and a great overall finish here as well on a difficult racetrack. And we'll let you get back into the paddock and go celebrate with all those great groups of friends in behind the scenes.
Thank you, sir. Have a great one, everybody.
Absolutely, and cheers. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so let's head over into our Pro-Am division here. And I mean, talk about a race between the top 4 or 5 guys in the point standings, but lots of different strategies being played out, pit stops at different times of the race, and potentially those strategies kind of being changed up on the fly from these races as well as things have progressed. So let's go ahead and start with our third place finisher here tonight, Ten Tenths Egon. Really great, solid performance here from you today. You got a good qualifying run here. You got a good early jump on the race, and you found yourself on that podium, and you pretty much just kind of stayed there for the whole race. But it wasn't an easy podium here for you. You had to fight off, you had to defend, and you had to battle back throughout the race. But all in all, we speculated during the live broadcast. You've had lots of great race starts this season, and it's been that last 20 minutes that seem to have been your Achilles heel here so far this season. But boy, you were really locked in here today. You really looked like you were comfortable here around the racetrack, maybe with the car as well, combination today, and didn't see that Achilles heel come into play here today with a great podium finish. So talk us through your night.
Yeah, thank you, Ghost. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. So the only disadvantage of racing on VR is that I have no pit crew, no spotter, no engineer, no nothing. So I really don't know what's going on around me, behind me. So it's a tough thing to keep focused. And you're right. I tend to unfocus in the last few minutes, and sometimes I just lose focus and I make mistakes. So today I even almost paid a dear price for that. I made two small mistakes also by distraction. But yeah, being on VR is amazing. It's an incredible experience, but I lack, let's say, a support team so that I can have an idea where I am in the race, who's ahead, who's behind. So in a way, it's a bit of a lonely race, but I'm glad I've enjoyed. I've enjoyed the races with the guys in top. The top five were super fast today, and this is an amazing track for this car. So I'm super happy with the race result.
Absolutely, and I mean, you were one of the drivers here today that found yourself involved in a few different battles with a few different drivers in a few different situations. And I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, again, coming out in third place. But pit strategy. Did you use the strategy that you had designed, kind of coming into the race, or did you have to kind of adapt that strategy a little bit based off how the race was developing around you today?
Yeah, no, actually, I stuck to it, Ghost. It's this kind of a race. When the field is this tight and drivers are so close to each other, pit stops make it or break it, really. And if you use a little bit of a fuel strategy, maybe if you can save a little bit, that quarter of a second or half a second may be enough just to take the position from the guy ahead or behind you. So definitely an undercut or another overcut is possible with this car and this track combination. So no, I just stuck to the plan, especially because I really don't know what the others are doing. I have no idea who's pitting, who's not pitting, and what the situation is. So at the end of the day, I just did my race. It's a little lonely, but fun regardless. So I had a ton of fun.
Absolutely, and I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, that's definitely what it's about. It's just going out and racing your friends and having some spirited competition, and ultimately, hopefully, at the end of the day, being able just to laugh about it and have some fun with it. But it was a great performance here today, and I love it when we speculate properly because that just means that we're not misleading our fans as we're talking randomness throughout the races. But like I said, really really great performance here for you today, and this isn't an easy racetrack, so you picked up that 3 second. Was it you that picked up the 3 second? No, it wasn't you that picked up the three
No, I
second
did not.
penalty. Yeah, that
No,
was
it wasn't
TDC.
me.
That was
It wasn't me.
TDC, right? So yeah, I mean, fairly clean race for you. Like you said, a couple small mistakes, and there was a point in time there where you and Fast Ginger were battling it out there pretty good for the podium, and then Fast Ginger just had just kind of his race kind of fell apart for him there. But that's racing. One driver is going to finish on top, and two drivers are going to finish on the podium beside him, and the rest of the drivers are going to be trying again next week, and that's just the way it goes sometimes. But really great performance here for you today. And I mean, like I said, shaking that little bit of a curse that you've been kind of rolling through with you this season in the latter part of the race. So does that help you maybe go in with a different preparedness and a different kind of strategy for the final round? I mean, yeah, you're still right there in the mid-pack fighting in points, trying to gain position in the standings as well. It's a double point round. Does any of that
Yep.
change how you're going to be preparing for a finale, or is it just business as usual as well for
Well,
yourself?
kind of. Yeah, kind of business as usual, but when you have double points on the table, you got to work your strategy a little better. So for sure, I'll have a few more hours of preparation for this next and the last race of the season. It is all about strategy. It's not only straight up speed, and having double the points on the table. There's a lot that can happen. So I'm really looking forward to this, Ghost, and I may as well just.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we lost Egon right when he was about to say that spiel there, so I'm not sure what happened there. Oh, it looks like we lost Egon altogether here. Looked like it may actually be an internet connectivity issue. Nope, there he is. He's still here. All right. We'll just move on to our next driver here for the time being, and if Egon gets a minute to pipe in, we'll let him finish his thought there. But let's go ahead and move over to TDC Gaming here, our second place finisher. Oh, it was such a crazy race. My brain is all rattled here today, ladies and gentlemen. And I mean, this guy had great pace all race long. He does end up taking fastest lap point here at the end of the race, but falling just a little bit short of the top spot of the podium. Now, the setup is that he's 10 points behind Tron Kobe coming into tonight's race, and he finishes just in behind Tron Kobe, but he does steal the bonus points. So if all stays the way it sits right now, it should be about an 11-point lead for Tron Kobe coming into our finale next week here on Tuesday night. So things are very close. I know that you probably weren't a big fan of this racetrack, but boy, you sure showed up here today. You came definitely with a goal in mind and just fell a little bit short here today. And there's a couple circumstances in that final pit stop and leading into the end of the race, I think, that may have factored into a little bit of potential really close battle to the checkered flag between you and Tro and Kobe. But all in all, you had a really great race today. You qualified really well. You kept yourself out of trouble here at Suzuka, and that paid off really well for you. You tried to really work hard to open that gap up in the first and second stint, but Tro and Kobe really did a great job to use pit strategy and some pace to ultimately put some pressure on you there in that final stint and just take that top step away. But I mean, lots happening for you here on the race tonight. Lots of great battles. Talk us through how it was.
So I knew coming in, this is a track where I either do really well or really badly. And I came in just here just knowing that I just needed to keep it together, get my rhythm early, so that way I can do really well here. And aside from that last stint, I think yeah, it was everything went almost according to plan. A very slight change in strategy for the in the middle stint. I went one lap longer than I actually intended to, so I took a lap less fuel, but I ended up needing that lap of fuel because I ended up actually under fueling on that last stint, which was exacerbated by the penalty. And because my strategy hinged on me not pushing, and once I got that penalty and Tron got by me, I had just to try to reclaim the lead. I found myself going into push mode, and that was really the last thing I needed to do.
Absolutely, and we did speculate when you made that second pit stop whether or not you actually took enough racing fuel in that car to get yourself around the rest of the race. Now, obviously, you showed that you did have enough fuel left in the car at the end of the race. However, we do suspect that you were doing a significant amount of fuel saving in the latter part of that race, say the last lap and a half or so, which ultimately did allow Tron to finally grow the gap enough on you to bring it home in the race finish. And of course, 3-second penalty, obviously, allowing Tron to get around you without having to battle for at race pace, so to speak, or find a spot to try and navigate around you. But when you left pit lane, we figured you were probably keeping an eye on that radar. The team was in communication with you on the radio in the car, and they were probably telling you that Tron was coming. Tron was coming. Was that a reactionary instinct when you left pit lane? Okay, he's coming. I need to get out ahead of him. Fuel's close. I'm going anyways. Or was that small amount of fuel exactly calculated in your strategy?
that small amount of fuel was calculated because, like I said, my plan was to not push, and if I wouldn't have pushed at the end like the fuel would have made it without me having to fuel save as hard as I did at the end. Because the entire race, really, I was not pushing as hard as I could. I was pushing hard enough to try to build a gap, but not so hard to where I start making the tiny mistakes. And I made a few tiny mistakes there at the end as well, trying to push, and then ultimately just shot my fuel a little too quickly.
Absolutely, and I mean we cannot discount the drive from Tron Kobe here today. He came from some pretty big adversity here today to even get himself into a position to be battling for podium here today. So it was really a good drive there from Tron as well. But a couple small mistakes, and I think that the the final pit lane penalty wasn't there, and you didn't, like you said, if you didn't have to at all push even a little bit in that final stint there, it should have been yours for the taking. But racing is racing and things happen, and a 3 second penalty ultimately really changing things up in between the first and second place here tonight. But you started fuel saving on the second last lap, so I would say about halfway around that lap we could tell you started to fuel save a little bit. We could see the gap growing a lot quicker between you and the leader, and we could also see the gap shrinking between you and Egon in third place. How much of that was in the back of your mind there as well as you're going around the track, as that live timing is coming down, you're looking at the fuel gauge? Were you concerned that you were potentially going to not even finish on podium if that fuel wasn't going to stretch?
Once I saw, I was like, I've got to start fuel saving. I was like, okay, so I'm not catching Chrome because I'm fuel saving. I think Egon's far enough back, and I think if I put fuel map 6 and just shift halfway through, I think I can squeeze it across the line ahead of him. And I think we just barely did that.
Absolutely, yeah. Like I said, he speculated had about a 0.5% or 1% fuel after he came rolling across the line there. But you did a great job to make sure you did what you had to do to secure your spot on the podium here tonight in second place. And racing isn't, Egon said it very well actually there in third place just a few moments ago. It's not always about sheer pace. Strategy is a large part of endurance racing, especially in this kind of event. And part of that strategy is knowing that you're in trouble before you're too far into trouble, and making that on the fly adjustment on track is still securing that position that you're in. So all in all, with everything considered, maybe not exactly the end result I would imagine that you probably desired here today with how the race went, but you had a little thing, you had it happen, you had to make a call, you made the adjustments, and you still got the job done, taking home a second place finish and still giving yourself a good chance to take a championship home here next week as well. So with all that being said, overall pretty happy with how the race went for you today, all things considered.
Given that we finished on the podium, maybe not out that top step like we wanted, but can't beat a second place is better than being off the podium, which is what would have happened if I didn't try to fuel. As if I would have ran out of fuel, I doubt I would have stayed on the podium at that point. So had to do what we had to do. So I can't complain in the end. I mean, Drone's a very fast driver. It's if any mistake on our end, he's gone.
Absolutely, and yeah, a great race from you. You've been showing great pace all season. You've been showing great grit and great competition all season long here yourself as well. So, I mean, obviously, drop rounds aren't factored into the standings here yet for the races either. So everything is still kind of a big question mark with how tight the points are in the Pro-Am division here. We could see things shake up with the drop round factored in too as well. So it's speculative right now that TDC Gaming is about 11 points behind going into finale week next week, ladies and gentlemen. But until we take a look at the drop round factor, we won't really know how close it is heading into finale week. So with that being said, it's super important that all our racers definitely get that preparedness time in, get their cars in optimal running condition, because every inch of that racetrack will matter for every racer next week. But congratulations on a very well thought out race, very hard race, facing a little adversity yourself and coming out with a great finish here to set yourself up for that finale next week. Any final remarks and shout outs to the viewers watching at home?
Shout out to Team Rad, Snowlander and Petro and the guys, just keeping me motivated, keeping me on the straight and narrow. Shout out to you and the admin staff behind GT45 Gaming for putting this on and giving this fun event to race. Shout out to the viewers watching and the other competitors on the track.
Absolutely. Cheers, brother. Congratulations on a very well earned second place finish here today, by opinion, all things considered. and we'll let you get back to that Team Ride Clubhouse to go celebrate with that great team in behind the scenes. We appreciate you.
Much appreciated.
Nice race, everyone, says JP. Good job, says Superman. Congrats to Top 3 and Top M, says Fast Ginger as well. Just catching up on some comments here. All right, let's go talk to the man of the hour. I mean, this guy, I don't even know what to say. You know, you never cease to amaze me, Trone. What an absolutely unideal race start for you here tonight. You guys you have a great qualifying run. You start up right there in the top end of the grid where you need to be to challenge for the best spot you can here tonight. You get accordioned up into the corner, you get hit from behind, you get sent a little bit wide into the grass. You have to wait to let the field go by, come back in on about, I think it was 8th or 9th place. You start, making yourself getting back up into the track. You make a small mistake, fall back down through the field, and then it's like you turned on a switch. It was like, okay, you know what? I've had enough. It is time to go. So with the combination of pace and some great strategy calls, after collecting yourself and getting yourself locked into behind the wheel of that LMP1 car, absolutely phenomenal drive. Potentially one of the best drives of the season from both divisions here, coming from Tron Kobe tonight. Congratulations. I mean, talk us through how you stay so focused and charged so hard to get to where you ended up tonight. I mean, tell the viewers what it takes to lock yourself back in after such a very tough race start.
It's all about keeping that cool head. Yeah, I got shit. Turn one, like you said. I was like, okay, not a big deal. It's just the start. Then I was pushing it. I pushed it too hard, coming into 130R, I believe. I went too far left into the grass, and I ended up on the wall all the way to the right. Lost my suspension, front suspension, and lost both of my left tires. I was like, wow, this is going well. But I managed to keep my head down and keep pushing. I went in a lap later than I usually would have went in. I kind of changed out to fly as well. So, but everything worked out. I had some good battles with Egon in the later stint, and I was pushing to catch up to TDC. Saw that he had a penalty. He was serving his penalty as I passed him. So I just had to keep my head down and try to keep it behind me. Ultimately, I did.
Absolutely. I mean, after going through so much, having to battle through the whole field a couple of times, essentially, by that point in the race, and I mean, you got 2 to go, and TDC and you're exchanging half a second back and forth to get through a couple corners, and he closes in on you. You get through the next couple corners, you open it back up on him a little bit. He's on a couple lap fresher tires than you are. What's going through your mind at that point?
But keeping it behind me, to be honest. He was pushing it, and I thought it was gonna be a close race. Because my biggest loss was due to hairpin. I'm not very fast coming out of there, but I could get him on the other corners, and I managed. And I saw that he was losing time, so it was fuel saving as it turned out, and I just managed to come home with it.
Absolutely, and I mean, you came across the line with only about 3% fuel left in the tank there as well. I think by the time you crossed as well, so very well calculated fuel. Now, you said that you stopped, I think, a lap later than you originally had planned in the first pit stop. Was your second pit stop also an audible call to go for that big undercut like you did?
Um, it the second pit stop, it was a lap later as well. I no, it wasn't. Yeah, no, actually, I can't remember. Um, no, the second pit stop was on time. The first pit stop was a lap later. I just made adjustments with the fuel since I knew that I messed up, and I was gonna try to catch up with the field.
Well, that you most certainly did, and like I said, some good pit strategy. Right down just to a couple liters of fuel at the start finish line, which is in a racer's eyes in sim racing. Pardon me, for the viewers watching at home, just a little bit of information. We'll call it. you don't want to come across the line with 25% fuel load in your racing tank as opposed to say 2% fuel load in the tank, because ideally you want to have your car to be as light as possible on the best tires in the final run of the race, and that is obviously to try and maximize your time and optimize your best chance for potentially winning the race, like we've seen from Tyrone Colby today. He did that. He used great strategy and a little bit of help from some mistakes from his competitor, and that got him far enough ahead there to get that 1.5 second gap and manage it. Now, to a racer, a 1.5 second gap is you're able to breathe, but it's not comfortable. A little mistake brings that driver on you, but it doesn't pass you. So it's kind of really relative and give and take, ladies and gentlemen. But losing my train of thought here because I do that lots. Fuel calculation is really important. So racers ideally want to finish the race with, say, 1 or 2% fuel in the tank. That means that the race has gone according to plan, and pretty much if that's the case, you should ideally have a pretty good race finish, depending on, of course, the league and, of course, the type of field and the racers you're racing with. Everything's speculative, but ideally every racer wants to come across the start-finish line at the end of an endurance race with only a couple liters of fuel left in the tank. That means that the calculations, the strategies, and all the hard work that goes in leading into the race was all worth it. So, Trone only having to make a small adjustment on his pit strategy initially coming into the race today, even after all the adversity he had to face in the very early part of the race, again goes to speak volumes. So was that the plan, was to try and come in with just a couple percent of fuel, or are you the type of racer that likes to have just a little bit more leeway there in case you need to battle at the end of a race?
Well, this race came according to plan. I always wanted to finish with a little bit left in the tank. As you said, the lighter the car, the little faster you go on the best tires. So yeah, that's definitely a uh, good idea.
Absolutely. Well, nonetheless, I mean, it's I don't know. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. Tyrone Colby seems like he's got a lock on this trophy here, but the double points round next week is really going to add pressure to our racers. It doesn't give any one of these racers a bold advantage over the next one, maybe unless they're just extremely familiar with the track and car combo. That gives them a little bit of an edge. That gives them an advantage. They already got a little bit of a comfort factor with the combination coming up for next week. Other than that, the double points round is going to apply a lot of pressure on all the racers, not just our pro-ams and our AMs. It's also going to apply a lot of pressure into our pros as well, if not more pressure, because they think about things quite a bit differently than our pro-am division does, surprisingly enough. So, with that being said, you got a points lead going into the championship. Fast Ginger finished a few spots behind you here tonight, so that kind of potentially knocks him out of the equation for the championship. So right now, I think the battle is really between you and TDC Gaming here heading into next week. Unofficially, ladies and gentlemen, that's not official. That's just speculative. But does that change how you're going to prepare? Does the pressure of the double points change how you feel about the track car combination, or is it just another race day and you're just going to go do what you can do and see what happens at the end of it?
Yeah, the points are definitely a pressure. The car track combo, I'm very confident with. Every time that track, say Class C come up in Group 1, I always pick the Porsche. And I always, battle with the people that drive in prototypes. So I can't wait for that track. I just can't wait for it.
Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. It seems like it's going to be a storybook ending here for Tyrone Colby as he's going into a finale with a championship points lead, double points round coming up, and a track car combination not only that he likes but is comfortable with. Tyrone Colby has the edge heading into our finale in round number 10. So look out for our race winner here this week in round number 9, THG's Tyrone Colby, because this man sees the gold in his eyes and wants to raise the top prize. Congratulations on an absolutely spectacular race. Like I said, potentially the best comeback drive here so far this season. With that being said, any final remarks on the race here tonight, and shoutouts for the viewers watching at home?
Yeah, I want to shout out to all the racers who raced today. Great race. right race to TDC and Egon, especially Egon, when we had that battle. And thanks to Ghost 45 for a great commentary, and thanks for the multiple series you got going. I'm really enjoying it. And also shout out to THG.
Absolutely, and the boys, the team was definitely up at the house here cheering you on tonight. And with that being said, I'm sure they are already tearing apart that clubhouse in behind the paddock here right now. So we are going to let you get back to that great team over there at THG and go celebrate with the crew that was out here cheering you on all night long, my man. Congratulations on an absolutely spectacular performance here today, and can't wait to see what you got for us next week.
All right, I can't wait. See you next week.
Cheers, brother. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Potentially our Pro-Am champion we're talking to here right now, as he now gets geared up and prepared to get ready for round 10 at St. Croix. So again, ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be a 60-minute race, a 1-hour endurance race here for our racers at St. Croix. So that's going to change things a little bit. It is a long racetrack. It's a very high-speed racetrack. It could very potentially be very aggressive and hard on the racing tires for our racers. Rain will not factor into our race next week, so it will be dry condition racing. So it is really going to come down to, again, driver comfortability with the car and the track. St. Croix is a very technical racetrack and is going to require a lot of understanding on the different types of corners, the undulations in the corners, and how to carry the speed with these LMP1 cars through the corners to really maximize the racing track and your time around the track. If the drivers can figure all those things out leading into next week, they are really setting themselves up for the potential to score some very, very big points. It is a double points round, so it is 32 points for a win here this season for our drivers. If you take that win here next week in round number 10, that is a 64-point round. And if you're a driver that's sitting in fourth place and that championship points leader, who currently right now is Troll and Kobe and will be Crow and Kobe heading into our finale next week, finishes in, say, fourth or fifth place, that turns that into about a 15 to 20 point spread between the two and could make a massive difference in how the standings shake up at the end of the season. So we are going to work hard this week. We're going to factor in drop rounds for these racers. Now, the drop round doesn't actually come into play until the end of the season. However, with that being said, we would like to give the information to the racers to know that this is the scenario without the drop round, and this is the scenario with the drop round leading into the final round of the season. The final drop round will be factored in round number 10. A double points round can be a drop round. So with that being said, one drop round for our racers this season, and that drop round will not take away any bonus points earned. So if a driver earned a fast lap or a pole position or a driver of the day award in that round that just so happens to be their worst round for scored points, then they will keep those bonus points. So they will not lose any fast lap, pole position, or driver of the day bonus points. Now, with that being said, we are also awarding an additional 3 bonus points to each individual racer this season that has made all 10 races and finished all 10 races this season. So that is going to be a very small group of racers that typically meets that requirement, but those racers will also be awarded a 3 bonus points for a full completion season here from GT45 Gaming as well. So there are still lots of points up for grabs here for our racers, and that is going to set up a absolutely huge finale at St. Croix next week. So with that being said, I mean, let everybody know what's going on, because no one's going to want to miss our 1-hour race at St. Croix next week, because it is going to be potentially one of the better finale tracks that we've seen in quite some time. These St. Croix tracks, although are fictional race tracks, could quite potentially be absolutely spectacular real tracks in the world if they existed. And I think that Bolifne Digital has done a really great job with the French race tracks here that they have designed and made. They are very racing race tracks. They flow great. They have several different styles of corners and lead-ins and lead-outs into those corners, multiple lines through those corners, and you could literally drive 4 or 5 wide in some of these straightaways on these racetracks. So it is going to be an interesting race. And typically, finale night, we see a big draw. The racers want to come and fill that grid and put on a really great show. So I am suspecting to see, pardon me, I got the hiccups right now, to see a fairly large set of divisions here for Monday and Tuesday next week. So that will be at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday and Tuesday evening when the racing starts. We will be live 15 to 20 minutes early to lead into the race for everybody, set up the race, settle down the points, and break everything down for everybody before we get into things. And that's going to be it for the season, but it's not going to be it for the season. We'll be making an announcement at the end of the week here for an all-star race, and that all-star race will be our top 3 from each division, and then that leaves 6 positions open from there, and we will, of course, decide who those other 6 racers will be that will be in the all-star race. It will be with the Porsche 919, and we are going to be settling what track that we are going to be racing on and duration of the race and all those beautiful things here in behind the scenes with the admin staff and development team as this week progresses. So our racers can be expecting to see something hit the Discord around the weekend here for that all-star race announcement, and be looking on the Facebook and YouTube channels for that announcement posted for everybody to see as well. And most likely we'll probably have that held on a weekend, just because easier to get the weekends to schedule with 15 different drivers to make the race. So that is coming up. So although we only got 2 races left on the season officially, we still have a send off the season kind of style race for our drivers, a last good bang with the one car that we haven't driven yet this season, and the one car that I'm sure everybody expected to see this season, and that is why we pulled it off the table. So we wanted the other cars to be displayed because the Porsche is one of the most highly used LMP1 cars in Gran Turismo 7, and I mean, it's clearly cut why. It is very quick. It is very overpowered in comparison to the other cars available in Gran Turismo 7 right now. And we're going to save it for the big show at the end of the season. So I really appreciate everybody coming in tonight. Thank you for all the likes and the shares. I hope everybody enjoyed both our races this week. They were really a good set of races on a very difficult racetrack. And I mean, this racing group just never ever ceases to amaze me. They just provide great action every week, no matter what the circumstance, no matter what the situation is. And I mean, huge shout out to all the racers, but especially our recovery drivers here this week. Lucas369 and ERA's Jakey over in the Pro Division last night with incredible recovery drives to find themselves on the podium. And then Tron Kobe here today as well with a massive recovery drive as well to find himself with a race win here today. So lots to think about for driver of the day awards here this week for sure. There is lots in the conversation and lots to talk about here as well. So thank you for staying with us here tonight. Thank you for tuning in, and we really hope everybody enjoyed the racing, because I know I do, and I have a big smile on my face at the end of the night every time we do one of these, and that means I'm having fun because my racers are having fun, and if the racers are having fun, that means the community is having fun behind the racers. So we're having fun, and that's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. We're just playing video games, and that's why we play video games. We play video games to have fun. It's a virtual world. We get to hang out with our friends where we can't see them necessarily in person. Like myself, a lot of my real life friends live thousands of kilometers away from me, and I can't just go knock on their door or meet them at the local coffee shop and have coffee with them and have a half-hour Rochambeau session with them. You know, I either got to phone them on the phone or jump onto my PlayStation 5 console, jump in a PlayStation chat, and I can hang out and play video games with them from all the way on the other side of the country. So that is why we do what we do, and that is why we continue to do what we do. We want to continue to drive the community forward. We want to continue to bring new members to the community, so more people have a safe environment to come to, make new friends, have people they can trust and confide in, and just come and have some wholesome, good old fun like we had here at Suzuka tonight. So on behalf of 10 Tenths Simracing and GT45 Gaming, we'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you for your time as always here on a weeknight. and especially to the racers. A lot of work goes into these, and they got to work in the morning, every single one of these races, so we appreciate all of it. On behalf of myself, GT45 Gaming, I'd like to thank the admin team, the stewarding officials, and everybody behind the scenes that make this goes on, right down from suggestions to feedback in the comments from the viewers, to feedback from our racers, right down to our graphics from our support staff and behind the scenes, right to those tough decisions being made by our stewards and our outside stewarding officials when we need them. So it all makes this happen, and I can't thank them enough for all the hard work this season. 1 week to go, one last show. Let's go. Appreciate y'all. Hope y'all have a great, fantastic evening. We'll see you guys again tomorrow night with some different content. And stay winning. Hope y'all have a great Wednesday morning and enjoy your hump day, everybody. Send you out with a little bit of tunage. And we'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Ciao for now.
Inside me, son of a god. I'm like a titan that's rising, no, just you watch. I'm stepping into fate, there is no time to waste. I've got that lightning inside me, this is how legends are made. Cranking up on the throttle, victory is mine. Show you the harder the battle, harder I fight. I've come too far to quit. Step back, I'm going in. I'm cranking up on the throttle. This is how legends are made. Like iron from the fire, getting stronger. This is how legends are made. Above it all, untouchable.